This is quite possibly the smallest little switcher that you can get right now, and even though it is small and affordable, it's jam-packed with a lot of features that I think a lot of people are going to want. Welcome back to the channel. You know I love switches, and there's so many switches out there now, and there's something that I do tell everyone. Every single switcher has its different audience, its different customer, and a different use case. There are so many switches out there, but not all of them are designed for you. So if you are looking for something that is really tiny, can fit on a desk, compact, and you are looking for something that you can connect to OBS using UVC for streaming, this may be that tiny, compact little device, because you're not getting all the extra bells and whistles that you're paying for that you're never going to use, but it's just giving you the right amount. Now I'm going to take you through the switches step by step, and I'm also going to show you a full menu walkthrough. So let's get through to the physical side. Now on the back, you do have 4 HDMI inputs, as well as 1 program out and 1 aux out. Now that program out and aux out can be fully customized to what you want to send out, including clean previews or clean program feeds. You do have a LAN cable over here, and that LAN cable is actually for using PTZ cameras really, as opposed to going live with it, because there is no live on air button with this device. You then have a lock-in little DC 12 volt in, and on the side you have a USB port, UVC, 2 mic inputs, as well as a headphone jack. Yes, all on this tiny little device, which is quite crazy. You then have 4 program buttons that you can switch to, and that will change it immediately, and 4 previews at the bottom if you want to load them into preview. And the buttons are nice and tactile, and they really work well. Now before I move on to the rest of the buttons, let's address the elephant in the room, the super cool little screen on here. Now it's not touchscreen, but it gives you a full little rundown. And the fact that you've got a screen built into at this price, so if you want this on your desk and you're a streamer or a gamer, this is really cool to actually have. Because it's so affordable and it's already got a built-in screen, there's no need for extra screens. It makes it really compact. You then have a zoom in and a zoom out button, as well as a camera and position button with a little joystick for PTZ cameras, as well as a little dial over here that controls the chroma luma picture downstream key and logo little section, which is pretty cool. A power button, a quick audio access button, and nearly last but not least, you have a cut and auto, fade to black, still, e-stop, as well as a pattern, which is essentially your image. You do have a menu button over here with a joystick that can be rotated as well as depressed, and that allows you to navigate through the very simple menu, making it easy for anyone. You have a memory button, which is going to be very popular for a lot of people, and I will explain that. A key button, which allows you to take your chromas, your lumas, and your pictures into key, in other words into preview, and an on air, which takes those live into your program feed. You have an MV button over here, which is essentially multiview. So you can set this screen to be on multiview, and when you tap it, it will show you either input 1 or program. So you can have a quick access to a nice little full screen look at that angle, make sure it's in focus and everything is perfect. Other than that, the device doesn't get hot. It's got 4 little feet on the bottom, stands nicely on desk. It's essentially a capture card on steroids for a lot of people. And at a price point of $289, it's quite scary that you've got an amazing capture card for Twitch streamers, gamers that want to use something like this, quick, easy access, and still have that screen. I think that is who this is really for. And I think it's going to blow a lot of people's minds when they can actually access something like this. Nice and easy. This would look great by a desk setup. Now I think it's pretty important to take you through the menu. So I'm going to take you through the menu step by step. Nice, simple little device. Check this out. There's a few little quirks and tweaks to actually make it work really well, especially based on the fact that it is so tiny. So I'm going to walk you through it and take you through step by step. I'm going to show you as well how to play a little video on this as well via HDMI, because there is no built-in feature like on some of the biggest CineTreaks devices or OC or Rode devices. So I'm going to show you the workaround on this if you have something really small, and it's not that difficult at all. Now, first things first, you do kind of have that standard touch the top one and you can change your program feed, and at the bottom over here you have your preview. Now I haven't connected anything into port number 1, as you can see. I have the multi-view running right out into another mixer recording it, so I can obviously show you the multi-view and the menu in a nice full screen kind of look. So I have a tablet that's connected to HDMI 3 over here. This camera is actually connected to HDMI 4, and this camera up here is connected to HDMI 2. Now, if I do want to switch, I would load, say, for instance, camera number 3 into the preview, and I would cut and cut back. And so you would go number 4. Obviously, I'm there already. So let's say we had number 3 live, and I loaded number 4 into the preview. I could cut, and now I'm live on number 4. Now you've seen the 4 buttons, and you may be asking yourself, well, how do you actually play a video? And that's when it comes down to that audio that I just showed you, which is audio follows video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a video over here. As you can see, it's in camera number 3. And when I cut to it now, or I hit auto and it fades to it, and you're going to see that audio follows with the video, but I do also have to push play on my iPad. So as you can see on the Multiview, I'm going to hit play and I'm going to hit cut at the same time, and then we're going to watch that video. Pretty cool, right? Here's the video. Awesome. I think it's a great time for me to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, which is Soundstripe. Now, Soundstripe has been around for years, but you know what? Forget all the jargon and the technical terms and everything and the AI, forget that. Soundstripe has just partnered with Warner Chappell Production Music. Yes, taking their library of music and literally tripling it. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's a lot. Not just that, you need to hear some of these tracks.
Is it 'cause I'm a lover? Service budget jumping, I got Wi-Fi. Everything big, you a little guy. Wake up in the morning, count money.
Now the tracks can be easily identified. At the bottom of each song, you've got a little Soundstripe logo, and right now you're going to see that Warner Chappell Music Production logo. Now these are additional songs that are available. It is an additional subscription. Now I know what you're going to say, you don't like subscriptions. Fine, you can still subscribe to Soundstripe. But if you subscribe to Soundstripe, nothing changes. The only difference is you just don't have access to all these new songs, which is far more than the library was. But with the additional subscription, you now have access to all this music. And when I tell you this music is insane, the production quality on this is next level. You have some of the highest curated music, and a lot of them have vocals, which is very hard to find. From Christmas music to rap to funk to pop to absolutely everything that your heart desires. Soundstripe has literally just become quite possibly the most premium licensing music platform that you can currently get. Absolutely love it. I'll leave a link in the description, but you can head over to www.soundstripe.com/rich to find out more, and Soundstripe will hook you up with a bit of a discount. It is super awesome. Pretty cool, right? You're welcome. What a nice little slot in to show you how to play a video. You do definitely need an iPad. Now how this works is I'm just running an HDMI cable into port 3 over here. You can just use a USB-C HDMI. This is an old iPad just to show you that I've got a Lightning to HDMI connector, and this is how essentially it would work. Now I'm going to hit the menu button over here, and you've got effects, audio, picture-in-picture, Lumo, Chroma, downstream key, PTZ, image, port, and system. Laid out really, really easy. And you can just turn this little joystick over here to navigate through. So I'm going to start at effects, and if I push it in and I push effects, this will show you all the different transitions and fades that you get. So just to give you an idea, if I do hit this one and I hit auto and not cut will cut straight, it will use that effect to transition through to the next one. And if I hit cut, it'll obviously go back. Now in the menu, I can go down, change the duration of that, so I can make it a lot quicker. Auto, you'll see it'll move a lot faster. And there you go, fade to black. So if I hit fade to black, it will take 4.3 seconds for this program, which is the live feed that's going out, to obviously fade to black, and your audio would go out as well. Now, obviously, my audio is not going to go out because I'm running my audio straight into the camera and recording it over there separately for the YouTube video itself. Softness, you can change the softness of it. And if you are using dip, which is over here in the effects, you can choose a specific color. So if I go down to dip, you can actually choose if you want it to be input 1, 2, 3, 4, or pattern or color. So let's just take input 3 and show you what dip will do. We go to effect, we've selected dip. And now it will actually use the picture of Michelle in input 3, which is actually the iPad over here, to create that transition. And that is how that works. Moving into audio. Now you do have program. Now your program is your full feed out. This essentially is what is going out to the live stream if you are live streaming it, or if you're recording it on a program out or on a monitor. And then you've got input 1, and you can toggle input 1, put that audio off. I can toggle input 2 off. Input 3, input 4 is audio follows video. So let's make input 4. It's not going to make a difference with me. But input 3, which is the tablet, is audio follows video. So as an example, if I'm running my audio into camera 1, I can actually pull my audio here. I would switch camera 1 on then. And I would pull the audio from that into this rather than using mic 1 or mic 2. If you use mic 1 or mic 2, obviously you would need to go down over here. You would switch mic 1 on and you would change the volume over there, but you'd also add a delay because audio travels faster than video. And usually on a delay, I find that about 130 milliseconds to 160 milliseconds is good for my delay via HDMI. You can change that mode from line to mic to off. And then you've got your ALC, and you can adjust that from off, 1, 2, or 3. And that is kind of audio in a nutshell. But before I move on from them, there is another way to access audio. Now, if you are on the home page, let's call it that, you've obviously got input 1, 2, 3, 4. It kind of shows you in a nutshell what those volumes are. It doesn't tell you if they're on or off, but it also gives you your camera 1, your logo that's there, as well as what effect you have currently activated if you are going to be using the auto button. Now, if I do hit audio over here, I see a whole different look on audio, which kind of gives me a quick rundown. If I'm live and I hit audio, I can go in and change camera 3 and just bring that down, right down, or turn it off. So it's a nice, quick, handy little way just to get to audio really quickly rather than going into the menu and traveling this route. Next, we have picture in picture. Now, for picture in picture, I'm going to show you how to activate these different keys or super sources or lumas or downstream keys, whatever you want to refer to them as. I'm going to show you how to activate them quickly. So before we go into picture in picture, if I use this left dial over here, you can see on this edge that we're scrolling a little wheel. Now this is out of the actual recording on the multi-view. This is separate over here. So I can see a little triangle over here that shows me chroma, luma, picture in picture, downstream key. So let's go to picture in picture. If I click picture in picture, you'll see it's green. And now if I hit the on air button, it will actually put that straight onto air over there, as you can see. So let's go back over here. And we are going to go over to, obviously key will take it to the preview and on air will go live. So we can go over there. So we are on picture in picture now. And we are going to go over here and take the picture in picture, and we can change pattern to, let's take this input 2, right? So now we've got input 2 on the preview, and if I cut, I will take that live. If I cut, it will go back. But let's adjust that picture in picture because this doesn't look great at all. Now on size, we can change it to 1/8, 6, 4, 1/3, half, or custom. So I'm going to go with custom because I do prefer that for now, and we can change the size. And now we need to change the position. So if I head over to position and I tap position, I can now use this joystick on this corner and adjust it to where I want it. Then let's go back one, and we're going to change the crop. So if we go to the crop over here, you can see I can adjust the crop and kind of zoom it in. So let's say I want it really punched in, but I want to change the position of that punch. I can use the joystick again to move around in that image. Imagine that image has been zoomed in and this picture still around to move, and we want to crop that out. So there we go. I'm going to go live with it. Now you can see kind of what I'm doing on the screen, and it's a really handy way to work with picture in picture. And that is how picture in picture works. Very important to note over here that I think it's just limited either at this point, and because probably it's a much more affordable device, you cannot change the shape of that crop completely. And if there is a way to do it, I unfortunately haven't found that way to do it. But from what I've seen, there's no way to do it. Yes, I can add a border to it. You can see I can increase that border, and you can obviously change the color of that border using the red, green, and the blue over here. So you can make it white if you would like, or whatever color you'd prefer it to be. Even black if you take down everything. So now it looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to go here and I've got picture in picture. You can see it's red. So if I do want to go to something else, say Luma or downstream key, you can see that it's already activated. Yeah, so it's great that you can see it. So we're going to go over to picture in picture, and you can see here if I hit on air, while I'm on logo, it will actually bring a logo up. So I need to have that little arrow on picture in picture and then take it off air or load it into the preview. So this is how this works. Now we're going to head over to Luma. Now I'm not going to get too involved into Luma keys and chroma keys and downstream keys because they are all pretty much the same. But just to give you an idea on a Luma key, so I've got it on Luma over there, and we're going to hit key. So now it is working with the preview, and we've got our key source, which is going to be 2, and the full source can be, let's say, 4. And we can change the parameters of that threshold, as you can see, and go live with it. You can see what I'm doing. I can inverse it as well. So this allows you to work with Luma keys if you are using it for a specific reason, or chroma keys pretty much works the same. So let's take that off air, and we're going to head over. Obviously, you do have a mask as well, so you can adjust that mask on the width and the height. So we're going to head over into the chroma key now. Now your chroma key is really for using green screen. Now I don't have a green screen set up, but I am going to see if I can do something with the blue over here quickly. So we're on chroma. I'm going to hit the key, and my key source is going to be me on input 4, and we're going to pick the color. We're going to pick color. We can say get, key get. So if you look in the small little multi-view over here at the bottom, you can actually see that I've got something running around. So we're going to get that color. There we go. So I've selected it. So now I've loaded Michelle. She is the key. I've loaded myself over here into number 4. And as you can see, I can adjust that similarity of that color. So we've masked out the sky essentially. Now this is kind of how you would use a chroma key to green screen and dial it in. Obviously we're not dealing with a perfect background over here whatsoever, but that is how you would use kind of a chroma key. So I'm going to take that chroma key on air, I can take it off air, key off. Now we're going to head over in the menu, and we're going to head over to a downstream key. Now a downstream key can work actually very, very similar. You would change your input to input 3, we have downstream key, we can hit the key over there, and let's take input 4. Input 3 is the downstream key. We can change the threshold, as you can see. Technically, you could kind of bring in lower thirds like this and it would work. It's just kind of a little bit of a workaround, but a downstream key like this can come really in handy if you do actually have a tablet connected. So it is pretty worthwhile to have a tablet connected to something like this when you have limited ports. So this is more if you're buying this and you want to be creative, as opposed to just using it as a 4-channel basic switcher. So it's nice that they do have those options there. So we have downstream key. It's green because it's keyed. And if we hit on air, it is on air, and I can take it off air. The last one over here is logo. Now, if I head over to logo and I hit key, you will see that little logo pops up over there. And I can actually just go ahead and tap on logo and move him around. If I use this little button over here, push that joystick in, and then I can say, well, that's perfect. Hit on air and he goes on air over there. If I hit on air, he comes off the live feed and take him off the key. So that is how easy it is with the logo. Now, if you are going to be wanting changing the logo, as well as certain things around this make it a little bit more limited because it is a very affordable, super tiny device. And the greatest part about this is actually using external software. So CineTreaks makes external software. As of making this video right now, the Mac software isn't released and I only have a Mac computer, but it is available on Windows currently. So if you do have a Windows PC, you can currently run with it. Now you don't need it to go live or do anything, but it definitely makes it a lot easier because you can actually change your logos and everything through there. It's quite a workaround if you're going to do it a different way, as well as the patterns. Now for some of you, you may like the still button. The still button does this. It freezes it. I've seen so many requests of people actually asking for a still button. I'm still unsure as what it's actually for, but maybe it's just to kind of hold a slide. You see a nice static and you tap it and you've got a nice static that you don't have to worry about until you've move a camera to something else. I'm not too sure, but it does have the store for those out there that absolutely love it. Right, moving on to PTZ. Now there isn't a PTZ camera connected to this, but if you do have a PTZ camera connected to this, you can actually just head over and you can have 4 cameras. You can search for them. You can use your camera IP. You can change the speed from 1 all the way to 24, and you can change the focus to autofocus or manual. Exposure, you can adjust the exposure. This is very much like any other CineTreak device. This little addition over here is kind of standard across CineTreak devices, and it is really, really nice that they do have it. And then you can change your white balance on here as well, with a little bit of adjustments on the red and the blue gain. Now you can actually just use this little joystick to move it, as well as zoom in and out, and you can select over here to change your different cameras that you have, as well as position that camera and zoom in and out. So you can position it or you can zoom in and out using these buttons. Now moving over into image over here, this is where you would use your color bar. So we're going to go to e-stop over here, and we can change that e-stop that's at the bottom here to a color bar or a specific color if you are using that as a temporary slide to stop your stream, to kind of show people what is going on. We're going to go back away from that. And then you have pattern as well. So pattern is essentially your picture, and I will explain to you how to change that in a bit, but you can upload pictures. So these can be holding slides as well. Your ports. Now you do have your multi-view here, and what's really, really nice on this device is you actually have an additional 2 outs. So this is unlike any other small affordable device. You have your multi-view here, and you can use one of those program or aux outs to connect a larger multi-view. Great. But if you're happy with working with this, you actually have 2 additional outs. So on my program out right now, so my program out is the recording that you can see. You can see I'm changing it to input 2. And now I'm going to change it to input 3, input 4. But I can go back to multi-view. And then I can do so with the aux out as well. So technically, if I'm at a larger event, I could almost use this for screens at a venue, and I can be switching live on a live stream, but I can make sure that my face stays on the actual screen that's next to me. So it's really, really great to have something like this. And then obviously you can change the LCD. If you saw over here, LCD out. And that program on the LCD out, this is this LCD. When I push this multi-view button, it will give me a full look at what I'm seeing that's on program. So this is great if you want to check focus or just check your shot that it is perfect. So you can just push that, see the program in full, or you can choose whichever one you want to see. Also, on the program out, you don't just have preview and multi-view. Input 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern, clean program, which is very important, as well as a clean preview. So you really have endless possibilities on this, and you can really, really change it up. It's great for live events, or if you want to stream out differently, or you just want to record, you want to send a clean program out, meaning there won't be any logos or anything that you've added onto it. It'll just be that clean out, which is nice for editing purposes if you're recording it separately. And then obviously you can flip an image. So let's take camera 4 in preview. As you can see, here I am, and we can just flip me horizontally, vertically, or horizontally and vertically. Now we're going to head over into system right at the end, and you've got your system. It tells you your OSD, which is your on-screen display, your timer. So the menu I can set to 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 10 seconds, and after 30 seconds it will go back to the home screen. You can change the backlight of the screen. As you can see, I can dim it down. And then your key light, these are these keys. I can change it to low, middle, and high. It says height. It should be high without the T. And then you've got your joystick. Now, once you've activated joystick and oh, I see its calibration, don't go out. You have to finish it. So push the joystick to the top, push the joystick down, to the left, to the right. If you don't do that, your joystick will stop working. Network, there's your network. Your info, you can switch your info on and off, and that will show you the displays over here, what info I'm getting. So let's switch that off. Memory, you can save memories, kind of your layout and how you work with the device if you have a different job that you usually do. So it's great to save those memories. And then there's obviously a reset. Now that is all these buttons in a nutshell. I can connect my headphones, listen to my program out, mic 1, mic 2. It's a really, really simplified device, and I honestly think it works very, very well. So that is the entire switcher. It's really, really simple, really, really easy. I do wish I had access to the Mac software already to be able to show you everything, because I'm sure there's a lot in there that I can't actually tell you, but it would be great to see, and hopefully when it comes out, there will be a lot more information on it. But for those of you that are on Windows, you can access that, making swapping out logos and things like that so much easier. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. It is an awesome little device. Thanks for watching, wherever you are in the world. Have a good day, good evening, and good night. Goodbye.